We've done some approach videos lately on our attack plan at the plate. What are we doing when we have one strike? What are we doing when we have two strikes? What are we doing when we have zero? Whatever it may be. There's all kinds of different approaches we can have. But we've gotten some questions recently on specifically the two-strike approach. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do a two-strike approach. There's infinite amount of ways. Whatever works for you within good mechanics is what we want to do. But what I wanted to go over today was I've gotten a lot of questions on this timing the ball up off the belt buckle. How do we actually time it up off the belt buckle? What does that mean? How does it work? Why do I want to use it with two strikes? Well, we're going to go over all that in today's video, and you're going to want to stay tuned because this is a great two-strike approach that's worked with a lot of hitters. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, guys, we got a lot of great content coming out this year, and if you don't want to miss out, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That's the only way you can get notified when we come out with new content. And make sure you hit that like button. That really helps us grow the channel. And if you guys have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Leave them in the comment section below. Just to reiterate, this is a two-strike approach, everything we're talking about in today's lesson. It is what we're going to be doing with two strikes. And again, there are many, many different approaches that we can do with two strikes. This is one that I like to personally use that I thought worked very, very well. We've had a lot of success with it with all of our hitters. So we don't ever want to get two strikes on us, but sometimes we do. So the belt buckle approach for two strikes is simply designed to give ourselves maximum room for error. What we do with the belt buckle approach is we're simply, whenever we have a normal approach, we want to make sure that we're hitting this ball as far out in front as we can, hitting it off the sweet spot, because the more the bat travels, the more speed we can get, and we just want to max out our speed and max out how hard we can hit the ball. That's all great, but when we got two strikes, we have to be a little bit more defensive as a hitter, but we still want to be offensive within that defense, and this approach allows us to do this. So when we time it up off the belt buckle, instead of timing it out, let's say in a normal pitch where we want to hit a little more out in front, what we're going to do is we're going to change that timing to where we're going to try to meet the ball when it lines up with our belt buckle, so the center of our body. So what this approach does is it allows us to hit everything off speed, because we're going to be waiting for this ball so long that we're going to be able to pick up the off speed, but it's also going to allow us to hit the fastballs because our timing is already going to be a little bit later than normal. So we're going to be able to really, really cover fastballs, middle and out. Inside pitches gets a little bit tougher with this approach just because we don't want to hit inside pitches deep, but it's very easy to foul off the inside pitches. So the only pitch that we really give up having a really good advantage is a really good inside pitch. So this pitcher's got to throw a really good fastball, but it's very, like I said, it's very easy to foul off. And if you got good reaction time, you can usually just get a nice hit to the left side. But the bigger thing is there's a lot of off-speed pitches. The highest percentage of off-speed pitches is thrown with two strikes. This approach allows us to cover inside, outside, down the middle off-speed pitches because we are timing it up so much later. So if I'm trying to meet this ball at my belt buckle, it's going to allow me to cover all off-speed pitches and pretty much every fastball, but, kind of dicey on the one that's directly in the middle. But when you got two strikes on you, you're playing your percentages. I'd much rather have 99% of the pitches covered versus, not even going up there with an approach at all. So this is going to allow us to cover so much, and it's going to be a good hit. So the other part of this approach that I really like is I try to hit something. We're going to try to hit something down and hard to the right side. So if we know that we're going to time this up off the belt buckle, hitting the ball deeper is going to make us hit it more to the opposite field. So for left-handers, it's going to be more towards the shortstop. So if I know that I'm timing this off the belt buckle, I'm also trying to hit this down and hard. So like I'm trying to take the second baseman's ankles off with this, and more times than not, you don't always do what you're trying to do. But if that's your approach, then you're going to leave yourself a lot of room for error. So if our approach is to hit that ball down and hard, if we miss it a little bit, we get a hard line drive. If we miss it a little bit more, we get a home run to the opposite field. And then, of course, if we miss it all, we're going to get the ground ball or pop-up. But we're giving ourselves even more chance. So we all know that when we get up to the plate, we got two strikes. If we hit a hard ground ball, everybody considers that as a good at-bat. So why not give yourself the chance to not only get the bat on the ball, take the decision out of the umpire's hands, and hit the ball hard, down and hard, and we're going to have the great approach. So it's a little hard to recreate a two-strike approach on the tee, but because it's more of a mentality. Even though I'm trying to catch it here, I'm actually going to catch the off-speed pitches here, and I'm probably going to catch the fastballs a little bit in front of that. But the mentality is catching it off the belt buckle. So once we catch it, once we have this mentality, and let's say, hey, we're going to try it out, really work on it in practice first. But this is the most important part of today's lesson: is when you're working on the two-strike approach, make sure you tell your brain that you're working on 2 strikes, because we don't want to, just be hitting batting practice and then hit one like, oh, that would be a good 2-strike swing, because we're not training our brain for the game time. We need to say, hey, I'm going to take a round of 5 or 6 swings, and these are going to be 2-strike approach, trying to time it up off of the belt buckle. So off the tee, it'll be, you can kind of line this ball up, right there with your belt buckle and make some swings. And what you're going to do, just to kind of get the sensation of what you're going to start working on in 2 strikes, is just hit yourself some nice, sharp, hard ground balls to the right side without compensating. So a really good idea for this drill is making sure you're looking up at your imaginary pitcher when you do your load stride. Then go ahead, look at your ball without compensating your body, of course, and hit something down and hard to the right side. So that ball I actually hit pretty good hard line drive, but I was actually trying to hit it down on the ground. So that actually is going to work almost identical to when I'm in the game. So I've got this pitch that's, about lined up with my belt buckle. It's much deeper than normal. I can move in and out a little bit. Again, we're working on 2 strikes. I'm looking up at my imaginary pitcher. I'm in my load stride position. I'm looking down. I'm trying to hit a hard ground ball right at the second baseman. And then we get that good feel, guys. It is going to turn you. You'll actually, like when I was playing, I used to get excited for a 2-strike count because I thought it was so much easier to hit that way. But, obviously hitting with 0-1 strikes, you can hit a lot more home runs and whatnot. But guys, try this approach out. If it works, stick with it. If it doesn't, maybe use it to develop your own approach. Maybe instead of timing it up off the belt buckle, you like timing it up off your back hip. Maybe you like timing it up off your front hip. Maybe you like timing it off something else that you never even thought of before. But use this as just a stepping stone, or as a 2-strike approach. See how it goes and kind of build your own as you go. Thanks for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, stay tuned. I got an even better bonus for you. I'm going to play a preview at the end of this video of one of our all-access membership lessons that you can get instant access to by simply clicking on the iCard in the top portion of your screen or the link in the description below. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to now start showing how our weight shift is involved with the release of the bat. We just simply need to understand exactly where we want to be in our weight shift. So we're going to get a lot more specific. We're going to be talking about the timing of getting the back pocket in front of the tee at the same time we're hitting the ball. But the first thing we need to do, guys, is we need to rep this out and make sure that we can definitely get the weight transfer that we need. So we're going to put our arms across our chest. We're going to get at least 100 repetitions